This weekend's project is working on some throttle bodies and checking some throttle body position sensors. Point being is that I want to check the reading, which would be the resistance on these sensors, and see what the difference is. And the ultimate idea is, can they be adjusted? And after being adjusted, how does that affect, say, your shifting, your drivability, performance, and fuel mileage? This is your plug, and this is the information we got out of the book here with your 1, 2, 3. Those are the color of the wires, and these are what they represent. 1 is the 5-volt supply, 2 is your signal wire, and 3 is your ground. And as stated, this would be the configuration of your 1, 2, and 3 with your pins up the top. After knowing that plug information there, what I do is I set the meter to the diode setting, which is that little symbol there. And once we've done that, you just take your 2 leads, and then you're going to check your 2 and 3 pinouts on there. Now you can check 2 and 3 or 3 and 2. It doesn't matter, you'll still get the same reading from either one. And that's going to be our resistance reading for the sensor. So when I do that, this is a brand new sensor here. I got 0.362. Now this is uninstalled. Now here's an old one here, and I got 0.404 on that one, and again, that's uninstalled, right? Once you install these sensors, that reading is going to change. Now if we go to this one over here, we get 1.198, and on this one here we got 0.934. On this one here we got 0.952, and on this one over here we got 1.017. Now another interesting thing I found was when you're operating your throttle plate in there. So let's say you open that up and you put it back. You're not necessarily going to get exactly the same reading when it goes back. There may be a variance there when that throttle body closes again. It might not go back exactly to that number. And here's an example here, right? So we got a bit of a variance, and I don't know how much of a difference that makes, but it'll be within the ballpark there. So this was to satisfy my own interest in whether or not these sensors could be adjustable. So now if that's reading the throttle position, then what we want is we want to be able to adjust the throttle position. So if we take a look at this old one over here, and then if you go over on this side right here, there's a little plug in there. That's going to be your tamper-proof plug. And this is your setting right here. But once you get in there, you can adjust this, and then when you adjust it, you'd get a different readout on your sensor. My strategy is that I want to put a new sensor in, and I want to adjust it, and then I just want to see if it's going to make any difference or not. We started off playing around with those sensors, taking readings, trying to see maybe if we can adjust them. Will it improve drivability, shifting, fuel economy, horsepower? Who knows? This is something to find out in the future. But other than that, whenever I'm working on a throttle body, what I like to do is I like to get rid of all them Torx fasteners, and then I switch them over to the Robertson fastener right there. I would try and make it so the minimal amount of tools and the fastest repair possible. So a screwdriver, a couple sensors, and if I'm having any trouble on the road, that gets me back up and running. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find the machine screws that fit the throttle body, and in most cases it's going to be either a number 8 or a number 10 machine screw, and it'll vary from 32 threads per inch and 24 threads per inch. They have been different from one to the next. I don't know why. This will be for the air pressure sensor that goes in here. There's our throttle position sensor, and then on this side here, that's going to be our idle control sensor right here. So if we get a little comparison, here are our 2 throttle bodies. This is the original one. The old one came out of another vehicle. This one is the one that I'm playing with right now. So the first thing I did was I cleaned it all up, and then you see down in here all that void space. So what I did was I just got like an epoxy, and you can get like a JB weld or something like that, and then I just filled that space in. So this is just like a JB weld product that's in there, and I filled that all in there. The next thing I felt was I wanted to make it all flat and smooth. I machined down these ridges here, so this is all flat, and then I filled this in so it's all flat. And then that's what we've got going on here. So we've machined all those away around here, all the way around. We want to leave these here because this is what's going to hold on the air horn. So you leave those 4 things in place. The next thing was this was our factory piece that went in there. Now by comparison, you can see how much material is in there and how flow restrictive that is. And actually with these lips bent upwards instead of downwards, like that can't be good. I made my own little threaded rod here that's gonna hold on the air horn there, or whatever you wanna call it. And then what I did was I just made it as low profile as I could to reduce the amount of material that's in the center here. And naturally you can't take it all away because it's pretty narrow. And then what I did was I drilled a hole. So this is basically a 3/8 hole, and that's just gonna hold our little bracket here. So that just basically catches in there, holds that little bracket in place. And then as you can see, then I got a 1/8 hole. Now that 1/8 hole comes out the bottom here. So it's just a small hole. It's gonna go all the way through, and then we're gonna put our original idle control sensor back in here. On the inside, that's where there's a hole in there, and then this seats up against that, and then this will open and close to allow more or less air in there as required for the vehicle to run. And the last thing was to set our air horn on there. So here it is. It's sealed up against that rubber seal all the way around. And then we've just got enough sticking up for our nut right there to hold that down. And there it is, finished installed. If I was to do any more, what I would do is I would just break down these sharp edges here, and I'd blend that in so the air will flow in a little better. Maybe a little bit of work on here, maybe not, just enough to break the sharp edges for sure. And so the idea is I've got another complete throttle body. I'll take off the other one, put this one on, run the vehicle, make my adjustments, make my changes, see if it's better or worse. If not, put the other one back on. If I am making some progress somewhere, then we'll write that down, keep track of it, and then move on from there.